I discovered her sneaking into her ex's apartment at 3 a.m. She swore she was just visiting her sister. I didn't even know what made me follow her that night. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was the way she said goodnight too easily before heading out for a drive to clear her head. My gut had been twisting for weeks, and when she grabbed her coat at that hour, barefoot at first before slipping on sneakers, I just knew something was off. I waited a few seconds after the front door shut, grabbed my keys, and tailed her from a few cars back. The streets were mostly empty, just the hum of street lights and the occasional distant siren. She drove too confidently for someone just clearing her head. And when she turned into that apartment complex I recognized from old Facebook tags, his place, I swear my whole body went cold. It was one of those surreal moments where time slows down. I parked across the street, engine off, lights dimmed. Watched her step out of the car, hoodie up, moving like someone who didn't want to be seen. My chest felt like it was caving in, but I couldn't look away. She walked straight toward his building, paused to check her phone, and then buzzed in. I remember gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. When the door opened and I saw him, shirtless, in pajama pants, I think something in me just shut off. I didn't even realize I was shaking until I tried to text her, and my fingers wouldn't stay steady on the screen. We'd been together for nearly 4 years at that point, living together for 2. Things weren't perfect. What relationship is? But I thought we were stable. We had our routines. Thursday takeout, weekend hikes, lazy Sunday mornings with coffee, and her ridiculous collection of candles. I knew about the ex, obviously. They'd dated for almost 3 years before me. According to her, it ended badly. He'd cheated, lied, the whole cliché. She said she never wanted to see him again, and for a long time, I believed that. But over the past couple of months, I'd noticed changes, small ones at first. She started guarding her phone like it was a secret diary. The screen would always be face down, notifications silenced. She'd laugh at texts, and when I'd ask, she'd just say, "It's just my sister." That became her go-to explanation for everything. Late-night calls, weekend errands, and now, apparently, 3 a.m. visits to her sister's apartment that looked suspiciously like her ex's. I sat there in my car that night for almost an hour. Every minute was a fight between my pride and my panic. Do I confront her? Do I barge in? Do I wait? I ended up doing something in between. I texted her, "Everything okay?" No response. I tried again, "Where are you?" 10 minutes later, she replied, "At my sister's." She couldn't sleep, wanted to talk. "Go back to bed, babe." I stared at that message while watching her silhouette move behind the curtains on the second floor. My stomach turned. I felt stupid. By the time she got home, for 17 a.m., to be exact, I was sitting on the couch, lights on, pretending to scroll my phone. She looked surprised, maybe even scared for a second. "Hey," she said softly, setting her keys down. "You're up?" "Couldn't sleep," I replied. "You?" She hesitated. "Same. My sister's going through stuff again." She wouldn't meet my eyes. I watched her walk toward the kitchen, pour herself a glass of water like we were in some sitcom pretending everything was fine. I asked, "Which sister?" She froze mid-sip. "What? You said you were with your sister." "Which one?" Mia," she said too quickly. Funny thing is, I'd already texted Mia an hour earlier, just a casual, "Hey, hope everything's okay." She hadn't even seen it. I didn't confront her that night. I don't know why. Maybe because I was afraid of what she'd say. Maybe because once someone admits the truth, it becomes real, and I wasn't ready for that. So I just nodded, said, "Okay," and went to bed. But I didn't sleep. The next morning, she acted normal. Made pancakes, played music, kissed me on the shoulder like nothing happened. I watched her move around the kitchen, her hair tied up messily, humming along to Fleetwood Mac, and part of me wanted to believe her. That maybe I'd misunderstood, that maybe her sister really did live near her ex now, though I knew she didn't. But another part of me, colder, quieter, knew I had to find out for sure. So I did what I'm not proud of. I checked her phone. I waited until she was in the shower. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear the water running. The passcode was easy, our anniversary. I scrolled through messages, but her usual apps were clean. Too clean. That's when I saw it. A secondary messaging app buried in a folder labeled Work. And there it was. Dozens of messages from him. Reading them was like getting punched in slow motion. It started with small talk, casual check-ins. Then the tone shifted. "Miss seeing you. Wish I could hold you again." Can't stop thinking about last time. My throat went dry. The latest one was from earlier that night. You here yet? Followed by her reply, outside. Buzz me in. That's when my knees actually gave out. I sat on the floor, still holding the phone, listening to her humming through the bathroom door. That same voice that, just hours before, had lied straight to my face. When she came out, wrapped in a towel, I didn't even say anything at first. Just handed her the phone. She froze, eyes darting between me and the screen. Why? I asked. My voice sounded weird, like it didn't belong to me. Why him? She stared at me, then at the floor. It's not what you think, she whispered. I actually laughed. You were in his apartment at 3 in the morning. How else am I supposed to think about it? She didn't answer, just stood there, tears starting to form. I pressed harder. How long? A few months, she finally said. It just happened. It just happened, I repeated. Like tripping over a curb? She started crying, but all I could feel was exhaustion. I didn't mean for it to go that far, she said. He reached out after his breakup. We just talked at first, and then you decided to sneak around behind my back. I finished for her. I know I messed up, she said. But it's over. I swear it's over. Over? I asked. You were literally there last night. She broke down completely after that, sobbing, begging me to understand, to forgive. Said she didn't love him, that it was nostalgia, confusion, weakness, whatever word she thought might soften the blow. I just sat there, numb, watching her crumble. It was strange. The woman crying in front of me looked like my girlfriend, but she felt like a stranger. The next week was a blur. She tried everything: apologies, therapy suggestions, promises. I couldn't look at her without replaying that night in my head. Every little thing reminded me. Her phone lighting up, her car keys on the counter, even her hoodie hanging by the door. Eventually, I told her I needed space. She packed a bag and went to stay with her mom. For a while, I tried to convince myself maybe I could forgive her. People make mistakes, right? But the thing about betrayal is it changes the texture of every memory. Suddenly, I was reevaluating everything. Every work trip, every late meeting, every night she said she was too tired. It was like discovering hidden meaning in a language I never realized she spoke. A week later, I got a call from him. At first, I didn't even answer. But curiosity got the better of me. He sounded surprisingly calm. Hey man, he started, like we were old friends. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. Why are you calling me? I asked flatly. He sighed. She told me you found out. I didn't want it to end like this. I care about her, but I never meant to mess things up between you two. Something snapped in me then. You never meant to mess things up? You slept with someone else's girlfriend. He went quiet for a bit. Then, you should know she told me she was single. That hit differently. What? She said you'd broken up. That you were still living together, but not together. I didn't say anything. Just hung up. When she came back later that evening to pick up the rest of her stuff, I confronted her about it. She didn't deny it. I was scared to tell him the truth, she said. I didn't want him to think I was cheating. So you lied to both of us, I said. She just cried again. And I realized then that this was it. There was no coming back. Love doesn't survive this kind of fracture. It just limps for a while before dying completely. I told her I wanted her gone by the weekend. She packed quietly. No arguments, no pleading this time. Just silence. The day she left, she kissed the dog goodbye, said, "I'm sorry," one last time, and drove off. I watched her taillights disappear around the corner, and for the first time in months, the house felt still. Empty, but peaceful. It's been 6 months since then. People keep asking if I've moved on. I don't even know what that means. I've gone on a few dates, sure, but I still double-check my phone when someone says they're just running out for a bit. Trust feels like something fragile now, like glass that's already cracked. Every so often, I still drive by that apartment complex. Not to see her, but to remind myself of the line I finally drew. The moment I stopped making excuses for someone who didn't deserve them. I don't hate her, weirdly enough. Hate takes too much energy. What I feel is quieter. Sadness, mostly. A kind of mourning for a version of us that never really existed. I heard she moved out of town a month ago. New job, new start. Good for her, I guess. I hope she figures herself out before she destroys someone else. As for me, I'm learning. Learning that sometimes love isn't enough, that instincts matter, that when someone shows you who they are at 3 a.m., you believe them the first time. So yeah, Reddit. That's my story. She swore she was visiting her sister, But I was the one who had to wake up from the dream.